My Lord, I am Advocate K.V. Vinod Kumar, the counsel representing State of Karnataka, the respondent in the case Islamic Academy of Education and another versus State of Karnataka and others. May I have the permission of the Honorable Court to present the counter arguments in this case? Thank you, my Lord. My Lord, education is a continuous process which begins from the womb and it ends at the top. Definitely, providing or imparting education to the citizens of the country is a state function and it is the obligation of the state. But my Lord, in a country like ours where lakhs of people are living below the poverty lines, where thousands of people are living in slums, and in a country where several thousands of children are succumbed to death due to malnourishment, it is really impossible and it is really difficult for the state to give or to impart education to all the citizens, and especially the professional education to the citizens of the country. In such a scenario, the state is compelled, the state is forced to depend upon the private players for providing, for imparting education to the needy, and especially the higher education to the needy persons. As the counsel representing the appellant, Advocate Nisha, has rightly pointed out, imparting education as per surplus 1 of Article 30 of the Constitution of India, it empowers the minorities to establish educational institutions of their choice. It empowers the minorities to establish educational institution of their choice. There is no doubt in that. Apart from that, Article 19(1)(g) of the Constitution of India, Article 19(1)(g) of the Constitution also gives every citizen the right to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade or business. My Lord, I want to read those articles, Article 19(1)(g) and Article 31 of the Constitution of India. As per Article 19(1)(g) of the Constitution of India, all citizens shall have the right to practice any profession or to carry on any occupation, trade or business. So that's what Article 19(1)(g) says. But my Lord, Article 9, as the right under Article 19(1)(g) is not an absolute right. It is subject to the reasonable restriction under Article 19(6) of the Constitution of India, and Article 19(6) of the Constitution imposes reasonable restriction on Article 19(1)(g). As per Article 19(6), nothing in surplus G of the said clause shall affect the operation of any existing law in so far as it imposes or prevent the state from making any law imposing in the interest of the general public reasonable restrictions on the exercise of the right conferred by the said subclause, and in particular the said subclause shall affect the operation of any existing law in so far as it relates to or prevent the state from making any law relating to the professional or technical qualifications necessary for practicing any profession or carrying on any occupation, trade or business, or the carrying on by the state or by a corporation owned or controlled by the state of any trade, business, industry or service, whether to the exclusion, complete or partial of citizen or otherwise. So Article 19(6) clearly imposes reasonable restriction on Article 19(1)(g) of the Constitution of India. And now let's see what Article 30 of the Constitution of India says. As per Article 30, subclause 1 of the Constitution of India, right of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions. All minorities, whether based on religion or language, shall have the right to establish and administer educational institution of their choice. So, suppose one of Article 30 empowers the minorities to start education institution of their choice to impart education. But there's also the Article 1, subclause 1 of Article 30 is also subject to the reasonable restriction under Article 19(6). It is clearly mentioned along with that article, reasonable restrictions. Right under Article 31 is subject to reasonable restriction under Article 19(6). Read with Article 19(1)(g). It is clearly mentioned along with Article 30. So, although unlike Article 19, the right conferred on the minorities is absolute under Article 30. It is absolute, unfettered and unconditional. But this does not mean that this right gives a free it gives a free license for maladministration so as to defeat the object of the article, namely to advance excellence and perfection in the field of education. The Honorable Court observed made this observation in All Saints High School versus Government of AP, and made the same observation in St. Stephen College versus University of Delhi. St. Stephen's College versus University of Delhi. In both these cases, court clearly remarked that the right under Article 31 is also subjected to reasonable restriction under Article 19(6) of the Constitution of India. My Lord, my next argument is that definitely it's a fact that right to establish an educational institution is a guaranteed right under the Constitution of India. But the recognition and affiliation of professional institution must be in terms of the statute. The Constitution of India does not guarantee to those players for recognizing and affiliating the professional education or professional institutions. So, regulate the Union of India, the state and universities had statutory rights. The statute clearly empowers that right to the Union of India, the state and universities. They have statutory right to fix the fees and regulate admission of students in order to ensure certain things. In order to ensure there was no profiteering, in order to ensure capitation fees were not charging, and in order to ensure admission were based on principles of merit, and in order to ensure the person from the lower strata of life or lower classes and poorer section of society, they have equal opportunity to receive education, and particularly the professional education. So, my Lord, if a free hand is given to all the private medical, engineering and other professional colleges to hold their own test, having regard to the time schedule framed by this court for holding examination in the 15% of All India test conducted by All India Institute of Medical Science and JIPMAR, CBSE and etc., the student would be deprived from appearing at the examination if tests are conducted throughout the country, and they will have to incur huge expenditure. Even forms, the application forms are given to these children for huge amounts. They are fixing 500,000 and so on according to their whims and fancies. So, more than one examination will be held on the same day or in such near proximity that traveling from one place to another will become virtually impossible. The methodology thus must be adopted so as to minimize the inconvenience caused to the majority of the students, so that they can appear at many examinations by incurring a reasonable expenditure. That's my second argument. And The majority judgment clearly clarified that Article 30 had been enacted for the purpose of giving any special privilege for the minority class. Article 30 of the Constitution of India is not for giving or not for ensuring any special privilege to the minority citizens of the country, but it is to ensure that the minority is considered in the same footing with the majority of the country. The minority education institution cannot claim higher or better rights than those enjoyed by the non-minority educational institution. Because of this Article 30, the minority has no right to claim any higher or better rights than those enjoyed by the majority of India. And my lord, some education institutions are collecting advance fees for the entire course. While at the time of the admission of the students, they are collecting huge amounts to ensure that the students are not leaving their institution. That is also that's also unfair, my lord. And regarding the question whether private unaided professional colleges are entitled to admit students by evolving their own method of admission, in this connection, I want to make it very clear that professional institution must apply a more rigorous test in order to maintain the standard of professional education. My lord, as you know, the professional institutions are they are giving birth to the future engineers and the future doctors of our country, and as such technically capable persons. So ensuring the quality of technical education is the basic responsibility of the state, which would be subject to which would be subject to the greater regulation by the state or by the university. And my lord, as the state, while granting essentiality certificate, is to consider the local needs and further guarantee smooth functioning of such institutions. While giving the essentiality certificates to the institution, the state must guarantee the smooth functioning of such institution, because if the state has to adjust the students of the institutions to their own institution. If a failure of education from the sides of these private players, state has the duty to provide education and adjust the students from that private institutions to the colleges and institutions run by the state. So it has a greater stake in that matter. As this responsibility is there on the state has a greater stake in this matter. Choice and selection of students in professional courses are directly linked with maintaining the standards of professional education. My lord, and regarding this directive principles of state policy, DPSP, in pursuit of the objectives of state policy having regard to Article 38, 41 and 46, let's examine that articles. My lord, Article 38 clearly states that state to secure a social order for the promotion of welfare of the people. The state shall strive to promote the welfare of the people by securing and protecting as effectively as it may a social order in which justice, social, economic and political shall inform all the institutions of the national life. And as per Article 41 of Directive Principles of State Policy, right to work, to education and to public assistance in certain cases. The state shall, within the limits of its economic capacity and development, make effective provision for securing the right to work, to education and to public assistance in cases of unemployment, old age, sickness and disablement, and in other cases of undeserved want. That is what Article 41 of the Constitution of India says. And Article 46, promotion of education and economic interest of scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and other weaker sections. The state shall promote with special care the education and economic interest of the weaker section of the people, and in particular of the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes, and shall protect them from social injustice and all forms of exploitation. So, my lord, Article 38, Article 41 and Article 46 of the Constitution clearly clearly imposes a duty on the state to ensure that the educational institution, the standard is maintained in educational institutions, and the people from the lower strata like the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and the other weaker sections of the society, they are giving equal footing with the others in the society, others in all other stratas of the society, and that's also the responsibility of the government to ensure that the weaker sections are getting proper opportunities for education, and in particular the higher education and the technical education. My lord, all these arguments make it clear that the state has a role to control the private players, to rein in the private players. The private players have no unbridled or uncontrolled right in the education field. All the rights are subject to the reasonable restrictions and subject to the subject under the control of the government. And my lord, in a saying in our local language, വിരുന്നുകാരനായി വന്നവൻ വീട്ടുകാരനായി മാറി. That means those who come to a home come to a place as a host, he played the role of the owner of the house. That is not fair. They have no such rights. So my humble prayer to your lordship is to ignore the arguments of the appellant, Advocate Nisha, who represented the appellant Islamic Academy of Education, and give permission to my client, State of Karnataka, to proceed with the admission procedures. That's all, my lord. Thank you, my lord.